Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery, great to be with you this beautiful Friday morning. Today is 10/10/2025, October 10th. We get together most weekday mornings, talk about strategies, tips, share techniques, and success stories. Each year since 1996, so this will be the 30th revision of the business funding guide that we've done. So each year there's some tweaks. And so today we're going to go through some updates and talk about how you might be able to use this to educate others, to help them, but also, of course, to build your income. So with that being said, let's look at the shared screen. We'll look at the inset here. So we are 509 South Pacific. This is our daily Zoom held most weekday mornings. Our website's 509pacific.org. If you know anyone that's looking for funding to start or grow a business, they can go to entrepreneurstarterpack.com. If you are a reseller, all of you should have a landing page that looks just like this now. If you do not, be sure to reach out to us via the tech support line. We record most of our trainings, nearly all of the trainings, and put them up on YouTube. So you're welcome to go back and visit past trainings if you want. The trainings don't go all the way back to 96, but there are hundreds of past trainings there. And if you need to schedule a call, the link to do so. As far as who we are, we're a 501c3 nonprofit. We've received a grant. The grant has three mandates, three things that we do, and that we ask those of you that are current or potential distribution partners to collaborate with us on. And number one is spot on what we're going to talk about today, building financial literacy. I think we would agree most small businesses, not all, but most small businesses need additional capital, whether it be to start, to grow, to reach their potential. So that's a fact. And there's almost an infinite number of lending options, banks, credit unions, alternative lenders, online finance companies. So you might say, well, why in the world is there so much pent up demand for capital when there's so many lenders that want to loan money? It's because most entrepreneurs don't know what you and I know. They don't know how to have a fundable business. So despite the lenders being readily available, most entrepreneurs, most borrowers don't qualify. So what you and I do right here is game changing. It's life changing for many of these people. I think many of you, and I don't want to call you cocky or arrogant, but you all know the formula for funding that anyone can follow. We go through it regularly in the mornings. We've talked about it. It's recorded on the YouTube channel, so you know it. If someone wants money, 100,000, 500,000, million plus, you know exactly the process that anyone can follow. But you're not normal, you're abnormal. Most people don't know that, so we need to educate, and we're going to talk about that today. The second mandate we have is providing free shelf corps. That's frankly easier than working with the clients and getting their current entity compliant. It's easier to just provide them a nice, clean shelf corp to use. And then ultimately, the goal is to take that education and those shelf corps to go get these people funding. And we guarantee it. If they'll follow the process, if they'll participate, we guarantee it. We're on the hook. And if you're a reseller, branch office, distribution partner, that's not your risk. That's ours. We're that confident of it. So today's agenda is to talk about the updated business funding guide. So again, we started this in 96. Each year we make revisions, and here we are ready to release the 2026. Now, I realize it's not yet 2026. However, just like new cars, right? The new cars on the car lot right now are branded next year. So we have made the revisions, and I'm going to go through some of those. So we're all familiar with this. Now, we do have an on-demand version of the 2025 version, which is 95% the same. There's just a few tweaks. But this educational material is ready for you, Joshua, you, Kimberly, you, Lainey, to go out and the other 600 we have 633 of you on live right now, so the other 631 people. This is designed to position you as an educator, as a resource, and it's ready for you to use. What you'll want to do is remove our branding and replace with yours, because regardless if you are a reseller or a branch office, our model is a private label, a white label model. So you don't go out, quote unquote, repping for us. You go out representing your business that you're the CEO of, and then we provide the back office services. So again, just like other materials, you would remove our logo, you'd remove our information and put yours on it. This curriculum is really designed off of the model that if we can go educate, we don't need to sell because people have a problem and you and I have the solution for it, but they don't understand that. And through this education, which I'll briefly go through, and then again, you can go see the full version on YouTube, it'll, I think, make sense to you. So what you would want to do is educate, whether it be in person or online, and then drive them to your landing page. And the landing page will convert them. You don't need to be a salesperson. It's interesting to me. I don't really know how someone can say, I want to be an entrepreneur, but I don't want to be a salesperson, because every business, doctor, dentist, accountant, plumber, doesn't matter what business you have to have clients or you go out of business. But we work with a lot of individuals that just, sales is foreign to them, and that's a little bit of a concern. But regardless, this model is not based around selling anyone anything. It's based around educating them and then empowering them, and they can either take advantage of the grant or not. So as long as you're one of our distribution partners with a landing page, you're eligible to go out and teach this curriculum. It doesn't cost you anything, but it's just we know from our experience, those of you that have landing pages are earning on average 10 times the amount per month that those of you that don't. The landing page is the way to have the top of your sales funnel to dump leads into, and then they convert and money comes out the bottom of the funnel into your pocket. So you would need the RMP, the Reseller Marketing Program, if you're going to teach this curriculum. After I go through the updates, then we're going to go to number 5. So we'll table that for a moment. So let me move that off the screen for a moment. So what are the changes from 2025 to 2026? So we updated our logos, you might have known, but that won't matter because you're going to put your logo or your branding on it. And of course, the year has changed. We changed the subtitle a bit, and this is getting a lot of traction, and you've heard us mention it several times, that our model is designed to bring an entrepreneur in, and with less than 500 total out of pocket, positioning them legally and ethically for a 1 million plus capital raise. And as we've talked about before, that dollar amount you might have to change on your version of this based upon what you're charging for the processing fee for the Shelf Corp. But regardless, you can edit this, and so this would just be a new price point, but it's still a great value. And our model is to bring the typical client in. They get their first tranche of funding within 7 to 14 days, within 1 to 2 weeks, and they never have to bring any other money out of pocket. Everything else literally is self-sustained from the capital raise through multiple tranches. It's great. So that's page 1. We did add a new page. So this page here, the About Us, was not in the 2025 or the prior versions. Don't know exactly why. I think at some point we took it off because many of you are using this curriculum, but I think this better prompts you to, of course, remove our information and put yours on. Because if you're in front of a group, in person or online, whether you're at a chamber of commerce, a library, a meetup group, wherever you are, virtually or literally, they probably would like to know a bit about you and your organization. So this is how we introduce our organization. But just like with the logos, you would take, and website link, you would take our information off. You would replace this page with your information. Now, again, we mentioned that we want everyone that is teaching this to have a landing page because it facilitates the closure process, and the follow-up, the drip marketing. So your link for your landing page would go down here at the bottom right. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, just type it into the Q&A. So page 2 is actually a new page. The why this matters is the same, and I'm not going to go through the slides individually. If you're not familiar with the funding guide, again, you can go to our YouTube channel and search it. But this just explains why it's relevant. And again, if you're not really intimately familiar with the content of this PowerPoint, I think you should be if you're going to be a distribution partner. If you're a client, if you're a distribution partner, comma, and or a client, because if you're a client, you definitely need to know this. This is what we now include with our very first communication to each client. We, of course, it was the 2025 version. Now it'll be the 2026. But regardless, we want everyone to have a solid foundational knowledge of what could keep us from being successful, what could keep us from getting funding. Therefore, we want to navigate around that. For those of you that are resellers or branch offices, I know some of you are requiring your participants to go through this training curriculum before you even allow them to enroll, to make sure they don't come back and say, well, no one told me that. I didn't know that. I'll give you a brief analogy. It's not a real good one, but let's say that you're following our guidance and you get a company car between now and the end of the year. Makes sense to get a company car. All of us probably need transportation anyway. If we get an eligible vehicle that meets Section 179 of the IRS tax code, we can do accelerated depreciation. So there's all those economic benefits. But when you went in and was test driving different vehicles, maybe you test drove the Escalade and the Range Rover and trying to decide what company vehicle you wanted, did the salesman tell you everything? Well, I mean, the salesman's going to give you an overview, and of course you get the manual. But for example, does the salesman say, hey, Kenneth, remember, you got to put gas in this. You know, every time you burn through the gas, you got to replace the gas. Well, of course not, because the salesman would assume Kenneth would know you got to put gas in the car. Well, I know that's not a perfect analogy, but when we go through these 27 mistakes, I think you all are so damn smart, it's real easy for you to assume that everybody knows this already, so you don't bring it up. But the truth is, not everybody knows what you and I know. So having all participants go through this, if not before they've signed up, certainly after they've signed up, to make sure we have a good common understanding. So then we go through the different mistakes, and I'm certainly not going to go through all the details, again, the on-demands on the YouTube channel, but business name mismatch, we need to have the right name. And that can confuse people more than you'd think, because we're giving them a shelf corporation, and some of them can't keep straight what we'll call their legacy business and the shelf corp. We got to decide which one we're using for the capital raise. So we need a business name, and we need to be consistently using it. Business needs to be in good standing. We recognize that some industries are high risk. Doesn't mean we have to avoid them, but we just need to understand that different industries have different risks. Now, when we provide these free shelf corps, all of them come as a management consulting firm, low risk, easy to fund. But regardless, we want to educate them that there are different industries that have different risk levels. We do need to have a good entity to be able to get funding. So again, think about this. If you went to the local library, which when I first got started, that's where I was scheduling these on a regular basis. So think of your typical audience being a group of people in the room, or I guess online, that are interested in business funding. And so some of them may already have a business, some not. So I do realize that some of these mistakes are kind of painfully basic, like, hey, you need a business entity versus being a sole proprietor. But again, our goal through the 27 mistakes is to get everyone on a common platform of knowledge. So we need an entity, we need an EIN, and of course we provide that. We need a business address, and we talk about the relevance of that, and we provide a free address for them. We need to have a business phone number. The business phone number you can get from wherever you want. Shouldn't be a cell phone number, shouldn't be a residential number. We recommend, but we don't have a referral relationship, no conflict of interest, but we recommend ruby.com to get the number, and then they'll even answer the phone. Once we have the business phone number, we need to have it listed with directory assistance. That's free and easy. We do need to have a business website and email. We can help clients with that. I know a lot of you are resellers. Some of you are charging more for the processing fee and providing more advice, more services. And this is an example of one. Of course, we need to have a business bank account. If the business is one that needs to be licensed, it needs to be licensed. Then we start educating at a high level about business credit reporting agencies. Because again, a lot of these people, they don't know what you know. So we have Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion over on the personal side. There's different bureaus on the business side. We need to care about that. So we talk about having the profile and having good business credit scores. But we do that. So that's part of our deliverables. And we've been talking about that in other Zoom trainings. We're going to add 4 trade lines to all participants' accounts so they have an 80 plus Paydex score and they're fundable. We address personal credit as mistake 13. The goal is to get business funding versus worrying about personal funding, personal credit, but we do want to address that, and we have resources that are built in that can help participants. We introduce collateral. And again, I know this is like an insult. You take Varney, who's on here, and Varney's like, how in the world can a small business owner not know the importance of collateral? But the truth is, Varney, not everybody knows what you know. So we do need to educate them what collateral is. And we provide collateral that's built in to the Shelf Corp. And so they get that for free. And if they need more, we can get them more. But we're going to educate them about that. We clarify that business plans are important. Of course, they get that free with the Shelf Corp. We educate them that financial projections are important. And of course, we provide that. So what you can see is this is an educational message. It will take you about an hour to present, to really go through it thoroughly, but it's educational in nature. But what happens is that the participants can very easily infer, wow, if I need all of these things and this model helps me with all of that, I probably should use this model. Therefore, you drive them into your landing page, and I would fully expect more than half would enroll. But so we're talking in general about things like business plans and financial projections, and of course, many of these elements are built in already to what they get. And so you're not trying to close them, you're not trying to sell them on a Shelf Corp when you're educating, but you do want them to understand, and that's why we use the red font when we do, to say, hey, don't worry about it. We can take care of that for you through the grant. Mistake number 17, not knowing what their uses of funds are. And this is one that I get some pushback from some of you because of your level of sophistication. Take Mr. Harris, for example. When I talk to him about this, he's like, what are these people? Are they dummies? They don't even know what they want the money for. But the truth is, a lot of these people don't know what they want money for. And we see that when we're going through the process. And that's okay. We're going to help them vet through and put together a use of funds. But again, I know we've got the Corinthians of the world and Drake Barrett's of the world, and we have these people that could be teaching business at MIT or Harvard. You got to bring yourself down to Main Street. And a lot of people they don't think the way you think. We have to teach them. And use of funds is obviously a very important element because that's going to determine where we get the funding from. Mistake 18, industry experience. And so this is a more delicate one. Some lenders care if the borrower has relevant experience. Some types of funding don't care, but we would like to have a bio put together that shows them that they're qualified to run the business. And if they don't really have the background or education, does that mean they can't get funding? No, it just means we need to alter where we go. Having a team of advisors, I don't know how to more emphasize that. I believe that every business owner should have a CPA that they work with. I think every business owner should have an attorney they work with. Many could benefit from a business coach. And this is an area that a lot of you are filling, where you're helping them after they get funding to use that funding and grow. I think every business needs an insurance agent because there's certain policies that you're going to probably need. And then, of course, where you and I come in is this last bullet. So just clarifying that they shouldn't really be going it alone and that we can be part of that team. And I know for some of our clients, when we have client calls, it's almost like a conference call or a conference Zoom where we have a number of their advisors with us. So it's like a think tank working to help the client. Feasibility data, which is essentially saying that we need to look at the projections that we're putting together for the client and look at it objectively from an industry perspective. And in fact, we do that. Our software that we use for business plans is very sophisticated. And it actually takes the industry code and compares our profitability projections as compared to the industry overall. So that's built in with our model. We need to know who our target market is. And we were talking earlier about those of us that are distribution partners. We need to know who we're trying to educate. Are you targeting truck drivers that are graduating or completing their CDL certificates? No, I'm targeting open licensed plumbers that have been in business at least 2 years. Those are just random examples. But if you are a distribution partner, whether it be a reseller or a branch office, and you're going to go out and help people, you're going to educate people, it is important to decide who your target market is. From a lending perspective, it's really important that we're able to convey to the lender who our business works with, because if we can't do that, we don't look very well prepared to have a successful business. Financial statements, insurance, cash contribution. We need to run our business like a business. And this is one that we get some pushback on. Some people will get a shelf corp and they look at us like we got a third eye in the middle of our forehead. Well, why should I run my business like a business? Well, because we're trying to go get a big ass loan, right? And the lender is going to look at the business and see, does it seem credible? Now, again, we help with all of this, but this is good to know, because the last thing you want to do is have a client get a shelf corp from you. We're working on funding. We're doing the back office work, the implementation work, and something comes up in this realm, and they're like, well, I didn't know I needed to actually run my business. Well, you should have. That was mistake 25, 26. 26 is a real delicate one because some people will want a funding strategy. They'll have a funding request, we'll say. Some people will have a funding request, and the funding request is frankly inconsistent with their current reality. So what do? Well, we either help them improve the reality to meet the funding request, or we maybe make some tweaks. And it's not unusual that a client will come to us and they want something very grandiose. They're not very close to that. So then we break it down into incremental steps. And then certainly, maybe more important than anything else, of course, is we need to find the right type of capital for each client. And there's many different sources. We have a proprietary financial software that we put the client's data in. Everything's confidential, but it spits out, it recommends the type of funding based upon the client's wants, needs, and mitigating circumstances. And then we present that to the client, and the client can either say, yep, that makes sense, let's do that, or no, that doesn't make sense, or they have questions. But it's very, very important to get the right source of capital based upon the client's mitigating circumstances. Now, you'll have often people will come to you and they'll think they know. They'll come say, I want an SBA loan to go buy some apartment complexes. And then you're kind of finding the right moment to say, well, dude, the SBA won't lend for speculative real estate. Did you know that? So what we try to do is just downplay. We'll figure out as we go through the process the right type of capital based upon the client's wants, needs, and mitigating circumstances. But I'm just mentioning that if the client comes to you up front and they already have their solution in mind, it might not be based in facts. It might just be based in opinions. And then the final page, which you'll do the most editing on, you'll take our information again off, put yours on. If you're going to mark up the processing fee, which is fine for you to do, you'll want to edit this price point so everything matches. But this is kind of the closing. What it's not kind of, it's the closing slide of the deck. So, any questions that any of you have on this, let me bring back over my notes screen as we wrap it up. So, if you need individualized assistance, please text us at 903-347-8042. That, of course, is different than the landline for phone service. And then we're going to wrap up with any questions, comments you have, of course, but we're going to wrap up with number 5. So, if we agree that financial literacy is important, that it is needed, and that frankly, you all know a lot that other people don't know, that we can use this material, this content, very credibly, very honorably, very professionally to educate people, and then we drive them into your landing page. So it's a great model, and it really takes you out of the sales role. You're really a financial literacy educator. But we do need people to teach, right? So we could have a great curriculum and a great program and a great partner like yourself, but we need to determine where are we going to get our target market, right? That was back a few slides ago. Where are we going to get our target market? So, and that's up to you, and we can work with you on that. But I think it starts with, do you want to teach in person or online? And then there's just tremendous outlets. Let me pick a couple of our more recent success stories. Take Brian. Brian will actually go into community colleges and offer to be a guest, like an adjunct professor, and teach one class per semester per business class, and come in and teaches this as part of that college curriculum, because we're getting down and dirty. We're being very specific. What does it take to have a fundable business? A lot of people that go to college and get a degree in business, they don't know what you and I know. So it's not well, I'll digress. So we could go to other educational venues and plug this in as part of the curriculum. We've got Anthony. Anthony loves to go to local Rotary meetings and teach. Doug, we got several Dougs on here, but Doug likes to go to churches and then work with the faith-based leaders. He'll teach this in person at churches, at worship based faith-based organizations, and he even does a revenue split. So there's a million different ways, but that's really what you would need to bring to the table, because we've got the curriculum ready for you. You don't have to buy it. It's ready for you to teach. We need to make sure you have your landing page, because we talked about you need to have a funnel to feed them into. So pretty much everything's provided for you, but you do need to determine where to teach. The most relevant recommendation that I have on number 5, most practical, is find a host. A host is a person or an organization that has a sphere of influence for your target audience. So you're not just trying to go find 10 or 20 individuals to show up online or in person. That could take a lot of marketing, advertising, a lot of effort. But if you went like Doug does, going to faith-based leaders, well, the church then will fill the will provide you the audience. Going to chambers of commerce, maybe. I mean, those businesses are probably a little bit farther along, but certainly we've done some at chambers. You could. But the key is, I think, finding hosts that you can collaborate with, maybe do a revenue share with, and then the host will provide the audience. With that being said, any questions, comments, concerns on the updated, and we can go back to the top page, the updated 2026 Business Funding Guide. This is the 30th consecutive year that we've done this. It continues to obviously evolve. The key is it's ready for you to use. You'll remove our information, replace it with yours. You can teach it in person or online. If you need some help or see how we teach it, go to our YouTube channel and do a search on our YouTube channel for 27 mistakes, 27 mistakes, and you'll be able to see us present the 2025. We've not yet recorded the 2026. This is the first day that we've rolled the slight changes out. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything that I can help any of you with today? All right, well, I think we're set. If you need anything, go ahead and text us on the support line for one-on-one assistance, and we will see you back on Monday morning. So text us if you need individualized help, 903-347-8042. Have a great day and a great weekend. Thanks, everyone. Bye.